There is a crisis ongoing here. What to do with these children?
I said, where are you going to put them? And they said, we have nowhere to put them.
We don't have the resources that we need in our community.
You would rather leave a kid locked up in juvenile detention, violate the law just to keep them safe? These kids have absolutely nowhere to go.
Well, Minnesota is facing a crisis, a lack of resources to treat troubled young children. These are children in juvenile detention or in need of social services. Many are accused of violent crimes, including armed robberies and carjackings, but they are too young to be detained and too dangerous to be sent home. Tonight, Fox 9's Paul Blume tells us it is costing millions of dollars to send these children out of state to get the help that they need, because in Minnesota, there is nowhere to go.
Compounding the issue is some Minnesota facilities won't admit these children for care, for treatment, so they're going elsewhere. Let's take a look at the map where we're sending our troubled youth. Going out west, more than 1,200 miles away to Utah. Some kids ending up to our south in Missouri, states like Arkansas, come over the eastern seaboard, Virginia, and then up on into New England, Connecticut, and Massachusetts. So why are so many kids being sent so far away? A lot of this has to do with what's known as the psychiatric residential treatment facility level of care in Minnesota. There are 4 of these facilities in Minnesota. Let's show you on the map. Starting up in Duluth, down to East Bethel, St. Peter, and Cold Spring. But they are not admitting all of our children. Why? Staffing levels. Major issues with staffing levels. There are open beds, but there are not enough staff. There are also complicated issues when you talk about kids with violent past, particularly in Hennepin County. What happens when a child gets rejected from there and a county needs to step in and find a facility for these kids out of state? Well, we went and asked public data requests to counties all across the state. I've got 3 samples for you just here alone. Take you out to Stearns County, so think St. Cloud. They've spent $84,000 on just a single kid being placed out of state this year. Dakota County, here in the metro area, 4 kids out of state this year, total of $133,000 in taxpayer money. And then up north, just north of the metro, Chisago County, that's a number that really jumped out at us. $286,000, that is 1 child. I spoke to the Human Services Director in Chisago County just this week. But that's 1 child.
Right.
That's a big number. It's a big price tag.
It is substantial. We talk about our child placements overall all the time when we're talking about our budgets, because it's one of the things we have the least amount of control over.
And unfortunately, if there aren't resources available in Minnesota, we look to other states. And that's where you have the out-of-home placements and the spend on out-of-home placements.
And that is Hennepin County Administrator David Huff. So just how much is it costing Hennepin County, the state's most populous county? Here are the latest numbers. 22 kids now getting treatment and care out of state. The county, taxpayer money, $2.1 million in sending kids out of state. Hennepin County officials are saying enough is enough. They have just earmarked $22 million for a new project to convert an adult treatment center here in South Minneapolis into what they're calling a youth stabilization center at 18th and Chicago in South Minneapolis. 15 of that $22 million is going to the construction, another $7 million for care and ongoing programming.
I wanted to provide a pressure valve, if you will, to help provide an alternative for the bench versus detention.
For the latest numbers, the latest stats, and the latest stories on this ongoing crisis, nowhere to go, find our coverage at fox9.com. Paul Blume, Fox 9.